If you are a content creator and you have a platform of 3 million, 4 million people, and it's your job to analyze news and politics for a living, and yet you don't ever mention Gaza, it's like, I just don't understand how you would be able to sleep with yourself at night. I certainly wasn't able.
David Pakman's former producer, ex-producer, has come forward to say a little something about the corruption of David Pakman, and so I thought I'd play this.
Please deliberate. I actually have an email from him after he visited the White House last year on the day of Joe Biden's State of the Address. He was invited to a private off-the-record meeting with Kamala Harris and several other content creators, including Brian Tyler Cohen, the Mycelis brothers from Midas Touch, and he told me that they all sort of talked amongst them.
Whenever you are having private meetings with Kamala Harris and Biden and shit that you can't relay to your fans, to your viewers, you can't say you've spoken to them. It's just a hush-hush, off the record, behind closed doors meeting. You're already corrupted. No one is unbiased who is having hush-hush, off the record meetings with some of the most powerful sociopaths in the world. You're already corrupted. It's the end of the story. It doesn't matter what came out of the meeting, what you agreed to, didn't agree to. Doesn't matter. Already biased, already corrupted.
And the Mycelis brothers from Midas Touch. And he told me that they all sort of talked amongst themselves at the White House, not in like an official capacity during the meeting, but, you know, just casually as colleagues amongst themselves. And they talked about what their editorial stance is on Gaza. And he told me in an email that they talked amongst themselves and came to the conclusion that the topic is too divisive, it might drag down their channels, that it's a poison pill, and that it's better if they just don't talk about it at all. Now, Brian Tyler Cohen literally has...
Which is already fucking repulsive. It's a genocide. It doesn't matter if you hurt your numbers. And this is kind of how I've gone. And, you know, thank you guys for trying to find me on the edges of the internet as I continue to try and do my work and do this show. But I have always gone by, I'm going to speak about what's right. And it's, yeah, has it hurt my numbers? In the end of the day, it has made it so that I am probably seen by 1% of the people that would see my stuff, because I have always stuck to that. I've always stuck to, I'm going to say what I feel is right. You don't have to agree with every word I say, but that's where I come from. I don't come from what they're saying, what Pakman and the others, Midas Touch and the others have said in emails. They've said, we don't talk about this topic no matter where we stand on it because it might hurt our numbers. And I've never stuck by that. And it has cratered my ability to reach people. But I'm going to keep doing it. I can't imagine doing anything else. It's what I do, and it's what I think is right in the world. And yes, I'd love for more people to see my show. I'd love to be some massive creator. And I know it will never happen because I don't do what they're doing. You also have Joe Rogan just recently said in an interview, in one of his own interviews, he had one of his friends on. He admitted that when he has on people like Peter Thiel, and he also admitted to having lunch multiple times with Peter Thiel, but meaning they're friends apparently. But Joe Rogan said that when someone's lying on his show, most of the time, he doesn't correct them and he just lets it go, which again is designed to not lose viewers. Because if someone agrees with the person that's lying, well, then you keep that viewer. If someone disagrees with the person who's lying, well, then they yell about how the person's lying, but they aren't mad at Joe Rogan, so they keep listening. So it's designed to keep viewers.
At all. Now, Brian Tyler Cohen literally has never done anything on Gaza. Beyond that, during the 2020 primary, even though he was regularly putting out videos covering news and politics, never once mentioned Bernie Sanders during the 2020 primary. And we see today with this rise of Zoran Mamdani, has Brian Tyler Cohen covered him? No, not at all. So I would suggest that, yes, there absolutely is suppression on Gaza, but there also goes beyond that to like a broader like shutting down of leftist issues. If you are a content creator and you have a platform of 3 million, 4 million people, and it's your job to analyze news and politics for a living, and yet you don't ever mention Gaza, it's like, I just don't understand how you would be able to sleep with yourself at night. I certainly wasn't able.
That's a great point. I mean, poorly phrased, because I don't know if you want to sleep with yourself. I mean, I don't know. I suppose you could have a good time. Just depends on how flexible you are. Yeah. How do you sleep at night is the question. I think a lot of them are sociopaths. Others are just willing to do the mental gymnastics, which must take a lot of work. Again, you got to be very flexible to do the mental gymnastics to somehow convince yourself that endorsing, supporting, or ignoring a genocide is acceptable because it's going to help your bottom line, because it's going to help you keep a number of viewers. It's fucking crazy, man. These people are utterly unhinged. And, you know, there was a time where, with a lot of these people, there was a time where I was kind of like in the same realm of them. I was at a lunch once. Again, this is not an off-the-record lunch where we were discussing what to do, so very different. And David Pakman was actually at the same table as me. I didn't speak to him, but he sat there, and he and others were being chastised for never talking about Russiagate, for never like defending journalists who were having their lives destroyed by the bullshit McCarthyism of Russiagate. And of course, I ended up being one of the biggest people to have my TV show destroyed and everything by it. But Pakman never said anything, never answered, never spoke.
Well, too, when I worked for him, to be honest, I sort of feel like I have blood on my hands. Whereas like he has this audience of 3 million people who are, broadly moderate, centristy, liberal types who, theoretically, if they did hear about what was happening there, then, they might have been more critical of Biden. There might have been potential to pressure him and change his policy on it. But because it was shut out entirely, it became much less present in the public discourse around a certain type of person who isn't getting their news from actual journalists, but paid shills for the Democratic Party.
Yeah, exactly. His viewers are probably a billion times less informed on the reality of Gaza because they're watching a paid shill. They're watching someone who we now know was getting paid by a dark money Democrat-connected group, and he's admitted that now. He tries to somehow do some mental gymnastics where he goes, it's fine. It's what we want to happen is for the dark money funds to send us $8,000 a month. And that's on top of whatever he makes with, YouTube just bending over backwards to send people to his page. It's got to be, when you add it all up, he's probably making $1 million a year or some shit. But $8,000 a month from a dark money group connected to the Democrats. And he says, I was never paid by the DNC. No, the DNC is not the one that cuts checks like that, you idiot. It never says DNC paid you. Like, no, it's the dark money groups that the DNC has do this shit. Those are the ones that cut the checks. Now we have one of his ex-producers revealing that, he and several others that I didn't even know about are fully in bed with the Democrats, have had closed door meetings with them about how to cover things, are told who to talk to. This was also in the Wired article, told who they're allowed to interview. And anyway, paid shills.